Some lines feel sacred, like the unspoken ones between two guys who call each other brothers. But what happens when the guy who calls you kiddo during the day holds you a little too close at night? Olivia wasn't just my roommate. He was my anchor, my best friend, the one who'd mess up my hair, flash that ridiculous grin, and make me feel like I belonged. He turned our small apartment into something that felt like home, like family. Until one night, everything shifted. I still remember it, the way his fingers brushed against mine. Light at first, then lingering. The way his eyes stayed locked on mine longer than they ever had. And in the quiet that wrapped around the city, it wasn't his voice that spoke. It was his hands. And they said everything he never dared to. I could have pulled away, but I didn't. And once that boundary broke, there was no going back, no undoing it, no pretending it hadn't happened. And neither of us were ready for what came next. I'm James Gill, 23, just a regular guy juggling part-time jobs, college classes, and a rent payment that feels like a monthly robbery. I live in New York City, chaos wrapped in neon. The only thing keeping me sane is Olivia. Olivia with his easy laugh, messy brown hair, and those maddening dimples. He's tall, athletic, the kind of guy strangers do double takes for. We've shared this cramped apartment for 3 years. 2 bedrooms, a narrow kitchen, and a couch that's seen more greasy pizza and late-night movies than it should. When we met, I was desperate. Rent doesn't wait for broke college students. He showed up, shook my hand, and an hour later we had a lease. "You're like my little brother now, kiddo," he said with that cocky smirk, ruffling my hair like it was natural. And that's how it stuck. Kiddo. He looked out for me, dragged me to the gym, nagged me to eat when I skipped meals from stress. It felt real, like someone finally had my back. But then things started to change, not in what he said, but how he looked at me. At first I ignored it, a hand on my shoulder that lingered, a glance that held a second too long. The way his voice dropped into something softer, quieter, when we were alone. I told myself I was imagining it. He was straight. I'd seen the girls, heard them laughing behind his door, so I brushed it off, laughed it away. Maybe I was lonely, maybe I was hoping for something that wasn't there. But then came the moments I couldn't explain. The way we'd sit too close on the couch, shoulders touching. The way he'd hold my gaze like he was trying to tell me something without words. I kept waiting for things to go back to normal, for that brotherly wall to rebuild. But deep down, I didn't want it to. And I think he knew that. It happened on a quiet Friday night. The city buzzed outside, but inside our apartment, everything felt still. Our ritual, greasy pizza, cheap beer, and some action movie Olivia swore was so bad it's good. I was curled up on one end of the couch, hoodie on, legs tucked in. Olivia was stretched out across the other, one leg hanging off the side, beer in hand. "You're seriously ignoring this cinematic masterpiece?" he teased, smirking. "I'm just waiting for it to become one," I shot back. He laughed, low and warm, the kind of laugh that made something twist in my chest. We both reached for the last slice. Our fingers touched. It should have meant nothing, but it did. His hand didn't pull away. Not teasing, not an accident. It stayed there, on purpose. I looked up. His eyes were already on me, steady, soft, searching. There was a question in them, silent but impossible to ignore. I pulled back too quickly, laughing. "You can have it." He didn't say a word, just gave me that unreadable smile, the one that always made me feel like he saw straight through me. The movie kept playing, but I couldn't hear a thing. All I could feel was the electricity his touch left behind. When the credits rolled, Olivia stretched, his shirt lifting to reveal a strip of skin above his jeans. I caught myself staring and looked away fast. "You good?" he asked, nudging my knee. "Yeah, just tired. Long week." He nodded, then slowly reached over and brushed a strand of hair off my forehead. Gentle, unhurried. "You're tense," he murmured almost to himself. I stood up fast, heart hammering. "I think I'm calling it a night." He leaned back, his eyes still locked on me. For a second I thought he'd say something. His lips parted, but then just that small smile. "Sleep tight, kiddo." I nodded, backing into my room and closing the door. My heart was pounding like it might break out of my chest. I wanted to believe I was imagining it, but his touch, his eyes, said otherwise. And I knew. This wouldn't be the last time Olivia blurred the line. The question was, would I let him? Here's the thing about tension. Once it enters a room, it doesn't leave. It just lingers. In the silence. In the shadows. The next few days, we played the usual game. Pizza, nights, dumb TV shows, him calling me kiddo like always. But the shift was there, underneath every laugh, every glance. Unspoken, unavoidable. The way his hand would brush mine when we passed each other. How he'd stand just a little too close, stare just a little too long. None of it was an accident, but I stayed quiet. Because if I said it out loud, if I named it, it would become real. And I wasn't ready for real. Not yet. Olivia showed up one evening with 2 six-packs and that familiar lazy smile. "Emergency therapy session," he said, lifting the drinks. I laughed. What else could I do? We sat on the floor, backs against the couch like always, talking, laughing, drinking. It was one of those nights that made me feel safe with him, comfortable, until it didn't. Olivia leaned his head back against the couch, beer bottle dangling from his fingers. "You ever feel like no one really sees you?" he asked, his voice quieter than I'd ever heard it. I blinked. "What do you mean?" "Like, people only see the version of you they expect, not the real you." His words hit harder than I wanted to admit. I nodded and swallowed. "Yeah, I get that." His eyes found mine, raw, honest. "I feel like that with everyone," he said softly. "Except you." My breath caught. I should have said something, anything. But I didn't. I just stared, heart pounding so loud it drowned out everything else. Olivia rubbed the back of his neck. "Are you talking to anyone right now?" he asked, trying to sound casual. But his voice cracked, just a little. "Like dating?" I stalled. He nodded. "Yeah." "Not really." His gaze dropped to the floor. "Good, I mean, not good. Just, you deserve someone who actually sees you. That's all." I stared at him, unsure if I was hearing what I thought I was. Before I could respond, he stood up and grabbed another beer. Just like that, the conversation snapped back to neutral, like he hadn't just dropped a grenade between us. But I couldn't unhear it, and I couldn't unsee the look in his eyes. Later that night, lying in bed, I replayed the conversation over and over. "You deserve someone who actually sees you." Was that just friendship, concern, or something more? I hated myself for hoping. Worse, I hated how much I wanted to believe it. The next day, Olivia acted like nothing had happened. Same grin, same jokes, like he hadn't cracked something wide open between us. But the tension was real, heavy. I found myself watching him more closely, studying every look, every word. Then one night, there was a soft knock on my door. "Hey, you asleep?" Olivia asked from the hallway. "Number, what's up?" He stepped inside, leaning against the frame. "My room's freezing. Mind if I crash here for a bit?" I hesitated. Every alarm in my head screamed, "No. Keep the line clear." But my heart wasn't listening. "Yeah, sure." He slipped under the blanket like it was nothing. No hesitation, no awkwardness. Just natural. "Thanks, kiddo," he whispered. We lay there in the dark, the city hum outside the window. I felt the warmth of him beside me, every shift, every breath. Then, his fingers brushed against mine under the blanket, slow, testing. When I didn't pull away, he laced his fingers with mine. Neither of us spoke. We just lay there, hearts racing, fingers intertwined. I should have pulled away, but I didn't, because deep down, I knew this wasn't about comfort. This was the beginning of something we weren't ready to name. There's something dangerous about silence, the kind where everything is understood, but nothing is said. After that night, nothing felt the same, but we kept pretending. The next morning, Olivia was up early, making coffee. Same smile, same laugh. Like our fingers hadn't just told the truth, our lips were too afraid to speak. I played along because I didn't know what else to do. But every time our eyes met, something hung between us. A question, a dare. That night, I thought about sleeping on the couch, but I didn't. I waited, half expecting the knock. It never came. Worse, the next night, after a long day at work, we sat in the kitchen, drained. "Rough day?" I asked. He nodded. "Yeah, boss is riding me hard." Then he looked at me, really looked. "You always make me feel better. You know that?" His voice was soft, too soft. I laughed, trying to deflect. "Yeah? How's that?" "Just being here." The words dropped heavy between us. I looked away. "You're drunk," I said, but he wasn't. We both knew it. Then he stepped closer. I could feel his breath. "James," he whispered, just my name, nothing else. But the way he said it made my chest tighten. "What are you doing?" I asked. He didn't answer, just reached up, tucking a piece of hair behind my ear. His fingers grazed my cheek, slow, intentional. "Tell me to stop," he said, but I couldn't. I should have. I didn't. He cupped my face, thumb brushing my jaw. Our eyes locked. He leaned in, lips hovering just over mine. I waited for him to pull away, to laugh, to say it was nothing. But he didn't. And neither did I. The kiss was soft, careful, like he was testing the moment. I kissed him back. All the questions, all the tension, all the wondering, it all poured into that one kiss. His hand slid to my waist, pulling me closer. My fingers gripped his shirt like I was afraid to let go. Then suddenly he pulled away, breathing hard. "I shouldn't have done that," he whispered. "Olivia," I started. He shook his head, stepping back. "No, James. I'm sorry. I can't. I don't." He turned and walked out. I stood there, lips tingling, heart cracked wide open. I didn't sleep. Because once a line like that is crossed, you can't pretend it wasn't. I had no idea how much that kiss would break everything. The silence that followed was deafening. Not because there was nothing to say, but because we were both too scared to say it. 4 days, no texts, no calls, barely a word even when we crossed paths. It was awkward, forced, like we were strangers in our own home. By the fourth night, I couldn't take it anymore. I paced my room, fists clenched, chest aching. I told myself, don't go to him. Let him come to you. But he didn't. So I knocked. No answer. I knocked again, louder. "Olivia, can we talk?" Still nothing. I pushed the door open. He was sitting at the edge of his bed, elbows on his knees, head in his hands. When he looked up, his eyes were red, tired, broken. "James, don't," he said. His voice cracked. But I stepped inside anyway. "I'm not pretending it didn't happen," I said, my voice shaking. "I won't ignore this." He let out a breath, like he'd been holding it for days. Then he stood, so fast his chair nearly tipped over. "It was a mistake, okay?" he snapped. "I was drunk, confused. I didn't mean to." "Don't you dare say you didn't mean it." My voice came out sharper than I intended. "You don't get to tell me that kiss wasn't real." His jaw tightened. His eyes turned cold. "I'm not like you, James." Those words hit like a punch to the chest. I swallowed hard. "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" "It means I can't," he stammered. "I'm not into guys, okay?" His voice cracked. This time there was no anger, just fear. "You kissed me first, Olivia," I said quietly. "You touched me first." He turned away, hands running through his hair, pacing like he was trying to outrun what just happened. "I don't know what I'm doing," he muttered. "I don't know what's wrong with me." "There's nothing wrong with you," I said gently, stepping closer. "But there is something wrong with pretending this didn't happen." He stopped pacing but didn't turn around. I waited. Slowly he faced me. And for the first time, I saw everything. The fear, the confusion, the shame. "I can't be this," he whispered. "I can't be what you want me to be." "I never asked you to be anything," I replied, my voice breaking. "I just wanted the truth." The tension snapped, like a rubber band stretched too tight for too long. "Well, here's the truth," he suddenly shouted, fists clenched at his sides. "I'm scared. I'm so damn scared. Because when I'm around you, everything feels different, and I don't know how to handle it." Tears stung my eyes, but I didn't look away. "Then why do you keep holding me?" I whispered, Like you're afraid to lose me." He didn't answer, because he couldn't. Instead, he sank back onto the edge of the bed, head in his hands. "I'm sorry, James," he whispered. "I'm so, so sorry." I stood frozen. I wanted to go to him, to hold him, to say it was okay, that we'd figure it out, but I couldn't, because I didn't know if he wanted me or just the comfort I gave him, and I wasn't going to be someone's safety net. Not again. So I turned. I walked out of his room, and this time I was the one who left him behind. But walking away didn't make it hurt any less. Because the truth is, I wasn't sure if I was walking away from him or from the only chance we had at being something more. The thing about walking away, it doesn't always mean you're ready to let go. I told myself I was done, that I couldn't keep waiting for Olivia to figure himself out while my heart stayed on the line. But the truth, I was still holding on. Every day after that fight felt heavier. We moved around the apartment like ghosts, crossing paths without speaking. No more late-night talks. No more movie marathons. No more Olivia at my door with that dumb, charming smile just to bug me. We were living under the same roof, breathing the same air, but worlds apart, and I hated it. I hated how much I missed him. 1 week. That's how long the silence lasted, before it all came crashing down. It was late, past midnight. I was lying in bed staring at the ceiling, wondering how everything I was lying in bed staring at the ceiling, wondering how everything had gone so wrong. Then, a soft knock. I didn't answer. Another knock, gentler this time. "James Gill, please." His voice was barely a whisper through the door. My chest ached. I closed my eyes. I need to talk." I stayed silent, but the door creaked open anyway. And there he was, Olivia. He stood like the weight of the world was on his shoulders. "I know I have no right to ask you to listen," he began, his voice rough. "But I can't keep this inside anymore." I sat up, still silent. He stepped closer, eyes locked on mine. "I lied," he said, his voice cracking. "I lied when I said it was a mistake." My breath caught. "I knew what I was doing when I kissed you," he continued. "I've known for a while now that I feel something, and it scares the hell out of me." He shook his head, hands trembling. "I've spent my whole life trying to be what everyone expects. Straight, normal, safe. But every time I'm near you, none of that makes sense anymore." My heart pounded. I gripped the edge of the blanket so tight my knuckles turned white. "Then why push me away?" I asked. "Why pretend it didn't happen?" "Because I didn't know if it was real," he whispered. "I didn't know if what I was feeling was really me." His eyes softened, tears welling. "But when you walked away, when you left me standing there, that's when I knew." He took another step forward. This time, I didn't pull back. "James Gill, I don't know how to be good at this," he said. "I don't know how to undo everything I was taught to believe about myself. But I know one thing." He dropped to his knees beside the bed, looking up at me like he was breaking open right there. "I can't lose you. Not like this." His words knocked the breath out of me. I reached out slowly, brushing my fingers against his cheek. He leaned into my touch, warm tears sliding down his skin. "I'm not asking you to have all the answers, Olivia," I whispered. "I just needed to know it meant something." "It does," he breathed. "God, it does." I slid off the bed, kneeling in front of him. For the first time since that kiss, there was no distance, no games, no pretending. Just us, broken, scared, honest. His hands found mine, trembling fingers lacing through. "I'm sorry I hurt you," he said softly. "I was so scared of what I felt. I didn't think about how much I was hurting you." I leaned in, pressing my forehead to his. "I was scared too," I whispered. "I still am." We stayed like that, frozen in the moment, not daring to move, until slowly his lips found mine again. This time I didn't hesitate. It wasn't confusing, it was real, softer, certain. The kiss deepened, slow and careful, like we were both afraid it might disappear if we moved too fast. His hands held my face like I was something fragile, something precious. And for the first time, I believed it. But even then I knew this wasn't the end of our story, because love like this, it never comes without a fight. Thank you for staying till the very end. If this story touched you, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe to Anonymous Gay Crushes for more heartfelt stories. Your support means the world.